Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday, July 26, 2026 writing reading class. Hope you had a great week. Let's go ahead and get started. Just give me a one in the chat room to let me know you can hear me okay. Okay, perfect. And so today we'll start off with our quote with some expansion. We'll get into our reading with the quiz. We'll talk about some vocabulary and some rules for good writing, and then introduce a new book. Let's begin. Ken, can you read the quote over on the left?
All battles are first won or lost in the mind.
Excellent. This is a quote by Joan of Arc. Let's discuss this for a second. Tell me if you understand the meaning of this quote. Go ahead and raise your hand if you can tell me the meaning of the quote. All battles are first won or lost in the mind. What is Joan of Arc? What is she trying to tell us from this quote? Alice, any idea?
No.
Ethan?
Like maybe before the battle start, the people who um fight, like they maybe think they're better and they maybe think they're losing and the first lost and maybe they're winning and first won.
Wait, I'm not sure I understand. What were you trying? Can you explain that again?
Like maybe before the people who fight, like the soldiers, they may have some thing and maybe they will think that they will lose because they think they're not as good as their enemy or they're better because of other reasons.
Okay, so what you're saying is that people might lose a fight because they think they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, this is not a statement necessarily about a fight. This is a statement about a mentality, a way of thinking. But as you pointed out, whether you think that you have the ability to succeed with something, or whether you think you have the ability that you're going to lose, oftentimes will determine whether it actually happens for you. If you think that you are not capable of doing something or accomplishing something, then that will probably happen for you. If you believe that you are capable, if you think that you do have the ability to do it, then you're likely to succeed. So it's our mentality, it's the way that we think, it's the positive things or the negative things that we tell ourselves that will determine the outcome of our life and the situations that occur. Very good. Well, today we are going to be talking about Joan of Arc because she is a very important and interesting figure in history. Follow along as I read about Joan of Arc. Martyr, saint, and military leader Joan of Arc, acting under divine guidance, led the French army to victory over the English during the Hundred Years' War. Joan of Arc began to have mystical visions with the presence of Saint Michael and Saint Catherine, designating her as the savior of France and encouraging her to seek an audience with Charles. She was asked his permission to expel the English and install him as the rightful king. At first, Charles was not certain what to make of this peasant girl who asked for an audience and professed she could save France. Joan, however, won him when she correctly identified him dressed incognito in a crowd of members of his court. In the spring of 1430, King Charles VII ordered Joan of Arc to Campania to confront the Burgundian assault. During the battle, she was thrown off her horse and left outside the town's gates. The Burgundians took her captive. Charles VII was unsure what to do, still not convinced of Joan's divine inspiration. He distanced himself and made no attempt to have her released. Though Joan's actions were against the king's occupation army, she was turned over to the church officials who insisted she be tried as a heretic. On the morning of May 30th, she was taken to the marketplace of Rouen and burned at the stake before an estimated crowd of 10,000 people. She was 19 years old. One legend surrounding the events tells of how her heart survived the fire unaffected. Her ashes were gathered and scattered in the Seine. All right, well, we're going to see if we can answer some questions about the reading. Number one, why was it so important for Joan to fight to crown King Charles to the throne? Number two, why didn't King Charles rescue Joan, even though she had helped him become king? And then finally, number three, why do you think people believe Joan's heart survived her death by fire? I'm going to go ahead and copy all three questions over to the chat room right now so that you can use them as a reference. And I'll go back to the reading. But go ahead and find the answers to the three following questions. Once you have, raise your hand, or we'll start discussing once the time is up. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the questions, see if we can answer them. Ken, let's start with you. Why was it so important for Joan to fight to crown King Charles to the throne?
Maybe King Charles had something great in mind.
No, for Joan. Why was it important for her?
Maybe the King Charles is a little bit very talented and smart, maybe.
No. Alice?
No.
Ethan?
Maybe because like before like many people want to be king, so like they need to fight.
No. Okay, let's go back to the reading. What I want you to take a look at is focus on the first and second paragraph. More the first. Raise your hand once you see the answer. Okay, let's discuss a couple things. So the first paragraph, we see a sentence that says that she was acting under divine guidance. She had mystical visions from St. Michael and St. Catherine as the savior of France. What does that mean? Alice, what does that mean? What does that mean? To act under divine guidance, have mystical visions, and be the savior of France.
Like someone save something.
I'm sorry?
Like someone save the friends. Save friends.
Okay. All right. Tell me more. So what was her purpose?
Like friends was um in dangerous and no one can help friends and she saved friends.
Perfect. So the purpose of why she felt that she had needed to to help King Charles is to save France. She felt that was her purpose in life. That was the thing that she felt she was supposed to do. When we talk about having divine guidance by Saint Michael and Saint Catherine, these were part of the religious sect, Catholicism, and she felt that these guides, these deities, were telling her that this is what you are supposed to do in life. This is your purpose in life, is to help King Charles to become king and to save France. All right, question number 2. Ethan, why didn't King Charles rescue Joan, even though she had helped him become king?
Like I think King Charles like he didn't he was still thinking and like um but then he just decided not to save her.
He was still thinking what?
Should he save John?
Okay. And why did he not help her?
I don't know.
Ken?
Maybe because King Jones doesn't want to take the risk of he might die, or maybe he has lots of his army or lots of his troops are dead.
No. Alice?
Uh maybe it's like John identified him in the crowd of her in the crowd of her at the court.
No, that's the reason why he worked with her. That's the reason why he employed her in the beginning. But that's not the reason why he didn't rescue her. Let's go back to the
Oh,
reading. Everyone take a look at the fourth paragraph. The fourth paragraph. Ken,
King Charles was still not sure, so he disengaged his attempt to rescue Jones.
not sure of what.
Not sure. mm, Not sure what would happen.
No? So what was he not sure of? Let's go back. What was he not sure of?
He's not sure of the Jones divine inspiration.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean? What did we learn from the first question? You can tell me. What did we learn about Joan from the first question? Ethan, what is divine inspiration?
I don't know.
Alice?
Not sure.
So the divine inspiration was the fact that Joan felt that this was her purpose. Her religion, Catholicism, she believed that she was the savior of France. She believed that she was going to help King Charles become the rightful king. But King Charles wasn't sure of it. Yes, Joan recognized him because he was dressed incognito. He was hiding himself. But even putting her in the war to help, he wasn't sure who this person was. As we learned in the beginning, she was just a peasant girl who believed that she had this divine inspiration. But King Charles really didn't know. So he didn't want to get involved because he really didn't know if this was real. Now, in the end, we discovered that many people felt that Joan's heart survived her death by fire. Why do you think people believe that? Ethan, why do you think people believe that?
Like I think she was only 19 and people just believe she's very brave and like so her heart survived her death by fire.
Interesting. Yes. You know, when we think of someone who devotes their entire life to help someone else who they don't even know, is willing to die for this person, they're not family, they're not friends. That's quite a bold move. It's quite a courageous move. Joan of Arc, she lived her life and she based what she felt was her purpose in life to help someone else that she didn't even know. And she was willing to die for that. And for that reason, many people felt her act of bravery, her courageous act, was something extraordinary. And for that reason, she became a martyr. And that even though she died, she still continued to live on. Some beautiful words and some lessons of in this story of Joan of Arc. Let's look at some of the vocabulary from it. Martyr, peasant, incognito, divine, and heretic. I want you to see if you can use two of the words and create a sentence or two sentences, not a story, around these words. Try to use two of the words or more. Think about the part of speech, martyr being a noun, peasant being a noun, incognito being an adjective, divine also an adjective, and heretic a noun. Once you have a sentence, you can submit to me in the chat room privately, and then we'll take a look at the sentences that come in and make sure the meanings work. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the writing that's coming in. If you want to submit, just go ahead and quickly start
teacher,
to. I'm
teacher,
sorry?
teacher.
Yes?
I edited it. My sentence wasn't that good. Okay.
Okay, go ahead and finish the edit, and then we'll take a look at one of the other students first.
Okay, I'm done with edits.
Okay, let's take a look at the writing. All right. Ethan, we'll start off with you. You said the peasant was also a martyr because he always spreads fair rights, that people like him shouldn't be given bad opportunities. Okay. All right, let's talk about a couple of things. Now, you started off with past tense here. You said the peasant was also a martyr because he always now spreads is in the present tense. What should this tense be, Ethan?
Past.
And what would that be?
Bread.
Yep, he always spread fair rights that people like him shouldn't be given bad opportunities. Now, it sounds like you're talking about him speaking, right? This is something that he spoke, he
Yeah,
said.
and yeah.
Maybe we can change spread. We can say because he always spoke of fair rights that people like him shouldn't be given bad opportunities. Okay, good. All right, so your use of the words "this does work." Now, let me explain a little bit more what a martyr means. A martyr means that they experienced something that was tragic. Many times, maybe they died, or maybe many times that they were accused of something, or they experienced some loss. That's what makes someone a martyr, is that they lost something for something that believed in. So maybe we could say something like the peasant who was killed, or you could say maybe assassinated, was also a martyr. If we think about assassinated, that means that they were killed for their belief system. Many great people, for example, Martin Luther King was assassinated. We could say that he was also a martyr because he stood for something that he felt was not, he stood for a belief, which was that all people should have equal rights. So just by adding that little bit, it makes the sentence more appropriate for us to use the word martyr. Good. All right, let me go ahead and copy our next writer. Let's see, okay, let me go ahead and take this one here. All right, Ken, you wrote, there once was a peasant who sometimes joins war. He is an absolute divine soldier. He's indestructible. Okay. All right. So similar, same issue that Ethan had. Your verb tense agreement. You start in the past. There once was a soldier who sometimes, what do we need to change joins to?
Sometimes
Joined. Joined.
sometimes join the wars.
Yeah, exactly. So if we start a story in the past, we have to maintain that throughout the entire text. He was an absolute divine soldier. He is, what does is need to change to?
Is you change to
Was.
was.
That's right. Yep, same subject verb agreement. Now, you have two complete sentences here. He was a divine soldier, and then you have he was indestructible. If you want to create two independent phrases and put them in the same sentence, what word do you need to put in between? You need some type of coordinating conjunction. Which one would be appropriate here? And. And he was indestructible.
Okay.
Very good. All right, let me copy it over Alice. Alice says, let's see here, Alice, what you wrote. Once upon a time, there was a martyr who always, similar issue. And you all made the same mistake today. Alice, who always make? What should make be?
Makes.
No, past tense.
Made.
Made. Correct. You started your story. Once upon a time, there was. Once upon a time is in the past. So once again, there was a martyr who made. If you tell a story, this is for everyone. If you tell a story, if you recount a story, it is always in the past tense, not in the present. You're telling something that already happened, so it's in the past. Who made, who always made people feel like he was a pleasant. Did you mean to say a peasant? I think you meant to say peasant here. Because he told, past tense of tell, told jokes every day, but no one, what's the past tense of no?
Knew.
Correct. That, what would will turn to in the past?
Would.
Correct. That, now I think what you were wanting to say here is not he would kill people, that he killed people every day. That he killed people every day. Now, my question is, why is he a martyr? A martyr is someone who, in many cases, died for what they believed in, something that they died because they believed that they were right. People thought that he was special or important because of that belief. So I'm not sure that martyr actually works in your phrase. Especially because of what he did. So I'm going to actually get rid of this word because it doesn't quite work here. We'll just put a man. But yeah, martyr would be someone that actually died or suffered something because of a certain belief. And other people felt also that because of their belief that they were important. All right, very good. All right, everyone, let's talk about some sentences. Last week we were talking about conditionals. We talked about the zero, the first, and the second conditional. Today we're talking about the third conditional, which is what you see here. But as we talk about the third conditional, what's the difference in the meaning of these two sentences? Raise your hand if you can tell me. If I had known you were coming, I would have cleaned the house. If I hadn't known you were coming, I wouldn't have cleaned the house. What's the difference in the meaning of these two sentences? Ken, can you explain?
The first sentence says, if I had known you were coming, I would have cleaned the house. Meaning that if I knew that you were coming, I would clean the house. And the second one says, if I hadn't known you were coming, I would have cleaned the house. Which means if I had not known you were coming, I would have cleaned the house.
So
Meaning
you
when
see,
if you if I didn't know you were coming, I would clean the house. Meaning,
Okay, you kind of explained the same, you just repeated what was written. Let me ask you some questions, Ken. In the first sentence, did the person know that the other person was coming?
no,
Okay. Did they clean the house?
no,
Okay. In the second sentence, did the person know they were coming?
yes,
Did they clean the house?
no, no, yes, yes, yes.
Correct. So the meaning of the sentences is the opposite of what we have stated. As you said in the first sentence, the person did know or didn't know they were coming, and they didn't clean the house. So their statement is the opposite of what actually happened in real life. In the second sentence, you said the person knew they were coming and they did clean the house, but yet they're stating something that's the opposite of what actually happened in reality. And this is what the third conditional is about. The third conditional expresses the opposite of what actually happened in reality. Something did happen, and we state the opposite of what actually happened. That is the use of the third conditional. We imagine a different outcome of something that actually happened. Now, Alice, in the first sentence, does the person feel regret or relief about what happened?
Regret.
They regret. How about the second sentence?
Relief.
They feel relief. When we use the third conditional, we often express either a regret or a relief or about a situation. We are either happy, we are either sad that something happened, or we are happy about something that happened. But it's always expressing the opposite of what actually happened in reality. Now, on this next page, you'll understand a little bit more about the third conditional. It is if plus the past perfect tense, how we form it, which is had plus the past participle, it plus the past perfect tense. Then during the result, we use would, have, plus the past participle. And as we were explaining, this is for a past action that we're imagining the opposite result of what actually happened, either expressing either regret or relief. Let's see if we can create sentences around the third conditional. Let's look at the example first. We have a scenario of what already happened in the past. Sarah missed her plane because her alarm clock didn't ring. This is an unfortunate situation. This is a regret. So what we want to state is the opposite of what actually happened, which is if Sarah's alarm clock had rung, past participle, she wouldn't have missed her train. Would plus have plus the past participle. That's how we form the result part of the statement. Let's see if we can do this together. Looking at number one, it says Neil could buy a new car with the money his father gave. Is this regret or relief? Neil could buy a new car with the money his father gave. Regret or relief? Ethan, what do you think? What do you think, Ethan? Is this sentence talking about a regret or a relief? You can unmute, Ethan.
Regret.
No, it's a relief. This is a good thing for Neil. He was able to do something because his father gave him money. It's a relief. So what we're going to state is we're going to state the opposite of the scenario. using the third conditional. If plus the past participle, and then would have plus the past participle. Who can put this into the third conditional? Ken, any idea?
Neil couldn't buy a new car without the money his father gave.
So we want to start our sentence with if.
If Neil couldn't buy a new car with the money his father gave.
So the first part of the statement is about the opposite of what was possible. So we know that his father gave him money. So what would be the opposite of that?
His father didn't give him money.
If Neil's father,
Ne-
now can you put this using the past perfect tense? If Neil's father,
Neil's father didn't give him.
past perfect, not past simple, past perfect.
Neil's father didn't give
No,
him
hadn't given,
any
hadn't
money,
hadn't given him the
a
money,
single dollar.
If Neil's father hadn't given the money, he
wouldn't be able to buy a new car.
now we have the verb could. Can you say it with could?
Okay. Neil wouldn't be.
No, with could.
Neil could never buy a new car.
So you want to use the could have plus the past participle. Neil could or couldn't?
Neil couldn't.
Neil couldn't have plus the past participle. Couldn't have, and what's the past participle
Neil
of buy?
couldn't have bought a new car.
A new car, correct. Now, I'm typing this in the chat room so everyone can take a look at it. If Neil's father hadn't given the past perfect tense, hadn't given him the money, he couldn't have, would, but in this case we have couldn't have, past the past participle, bought a new car. All right, so let's try another one. My sister broke the vase because she tripped over the carpet. My sister broke the vase because she tripped over the carpet. We want to state the opposite of what actually happened. First question is this regret or relief? Alice, is this regret or relief?
Regret.
That's right. It's an unfortunate thing that happened, that she broke the vase. Now we want to state the opposite of what happened, Alice. What happened?
My sister broke the vase.
But why?
Because she tripped over the carpet.
Okay, you want to state the opposite. You want to imagine a scenario that was the opposite of what actually happened. So let's start with if.
If my sister
Now past
didn't
perfect. Past perfect.
hadn't
Hadn't.
tripped over the
Very good.
carpet,
Very good.
she won't
Now
broke
we
the
want would plus have plus the past perfect.
she wouldn't have broke the vase.
What's the past participle of break. She wouldn't have, not broke. Broke is the past tense.
Break.
Broken. She wouldn't have
Okay.
broken the vase. Very good. Very good. If my sister hadn't tripped over the carpet, which I typed in the chat room here, my sister hadn't tripped over the carpet, she wouldn't have broken the vase. Excellent. Now, what I'd like for you to do is let's actually, just for time purposes, create one sentence. Today, we're just going to create one sentence that's either a regret or a relief using the past, using the third conditional. So you'll create either one for regret or for relief. Once you have your sentence, you can submit it to me privately in the chat room, and then we'll take a look at the sentences to make sure the meaning is correct. As a guide, I will put, once again, the formation of the third conditional in the chat room. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sentences that are coming in. If you want to submit, just go ahead and start to quickly wrap up. Alice, you wrote, if she hadn't recalled that phone, she wouldn't have that serious car wreck. Alice, I don't understand your sentence. What are you trying to say?
It's like she uh she called phone and there was a and she have a serious car rush.
You mean that she was on the phone? Like she was calling, she was talking on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, let's rephrase this. This is not correct. As far as like how the words you're using. If she hadn't been on the phone, she wouldn't have had an accident. So what we do know is that she was on the phone, and because she was on the phone, she had an accident. And now we're imagining the opposite of what occurred. Is your sentence about regret or relief?
Regret.
Correct. All right, let's take a look at Ken's. Ken, you wrote, my brother was late for school because he overslept. So what we're missing in your sentence is we're missing if. Conditionals have to have if in it.
If my brother hadn't
Overslept?
he would be. If my brother hadn't overslept, he would be early for school.
If my brother hadn't overslept,
Oh yeah, I don't have a brother.
he wouldn't have been late for school. He wouldn't have been late for school. Okay, let's see yours, Ethan. If I didn't go to school, I wouldn't have played football. If I went to school, I would have played football. Okay. So your formation is correct, but your tenses are incorrect. We have to use the past perfect. If I didn't, what's the past perfect of didn't go? Hadn't gone. Past perfect is had plus the past participle. I hadn't gone to school. I wouldn't have played football. What you're stating is that you did go to school and you did play football. Now, in your second sentence, if I went to school, I would have played football. What is this with the past perfect, Ethan?
Gone.
What?
Gone.
Past perfect. You need have plus the past participle.
Have gone or have
Had
went.
gone. Had gone to school. If I had gone to school, I would have played football. So yeah, so you past perfect is had plus the past participle is how you form the past perfect. If I had gone to school. Now, is your first sentence regret or relief? Are you expressing regret or relief? Ethan? Ethan?
What?
Is your first sentence regret or relief?
Relief. And the
Is
second is regret.
correct. Very good. All right. Nice work, everyone. We have a new book this week, which is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Perhaps you've seen the movie. It was also made into a movie. Here's a little bit about the author of the book and a summary of the book. Very interesting story. This week, think about the new vocabulary words we had, also how we talked about the usage of the third conditional. The third conditional. For your homework, your writing assignment, what has been your best memory from this summer? What made it so special? Write no more than 400 words, and you can submit that to the forum within the next 7 days for edits. On the page afterwards, you'll find the phrases to complete with the words of the day, along with the answer key to check your answers. I'll go ahead and copy the link to today's class if you'd like to get started with any of the exercises. Just go ahead and click on the link and then request access. Here is that link now. Any questions as we finish? All right, I will see you all next week. Have a good week. Bye now.
Have a
Have a
nice
nice day, and you too. Bye.
Bye.